All right, guys, take two. Let's try this again. All right, let's see. All righty, if you are on, tell me, Amy McAtee, can you see me? Am I sideways or am I vertical? Hey, everybody, sorry about that. Told y'all technology is crazy sometimes. All right, so we're gonna get back up and going really quickly. All right.
Yay!
Yay!
You did it.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay,
Make sure the
perfect.
stable.
All right, you're good?
I'm great.
All right, we'll give everybody a couple seconds to jump back on, like 15 seconds. Where numbers are climbing, so that's awesome.
Perfect. I can't see any comments, so hey, everybody.
Okay, I can see comments, so I will try to keep you in the loop.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to touch the phone because I'm not messing with something that's working.
I know exactly. All right, well, we're a few minutes late, so I'm going to go ahead and start us. Is that good with you?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, awesome. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for getting on. I know that on a Thursday night, there's a million things that you could be doing. And so we appreciate you accepting the invitation to participate with us tonight. We promise to honor your time and to keep this as short as possible while also giving you as much relevant information as we possibly can. My name's Christina Williams. I'm a senior Ruby ambassador with Plexus, which means I've helped a lot of people have lots of health breakthroughs and health victories. And I'm really excited about sharing that with you tonight. So I'll just jump in and start, and then you're going to get to hear from one of my really, really good friends. So the reason that I started with Plexus, you guys, is about 14 years ago, almost 14 years ago, I had my first child at 24 weeks. For those of you who don't know, 40 weeks is normal. And so we had her drastically early. She weighed 1 pound, 5 ounces. As a matter of fact, her dad's mom is on this video. So her grandma's on this video. Hey, Miss Linda. And so it was a very scary and trying time for us. She weighed 1 pound. She was 11 inches long. She's 13 and a half now, you guys, and perfect. But that sent my body into a tailspin. And I had her at 24 weeks, y'all, because my blood pressure went from normal to almost killing me. When I delivered Bailey, I had a grand mal seizure, and my blood pressure was 215/108. So the doctors didn't give us a choice. I had a seizure and woke up, and she had been delivered. It was one of those things they had to get her out to save her life and to try to save mine. So from that point forward, for the next decade, I was on 5 different blood pressure medicines at any given time. Sometimes they could switch it up and put me on 3 or 4, and sometimes it was more than 5, but 5 was pretty consistent. And I still found myself in the ER many times because my blood pressure was so unstable. And at the ER, you guys, if you go there with blood pressure that high, they give you this really ugly manila envelope. Looks a lot like this. But on the front, they write in big black marker, stroke protocol. And so you have to hold that in the lobby of the waiting room in case, you know, you have a stroke. They know that they need to follow the stroke protocol. So for someone who, at the time, I was not even 20 years old when I had her. And then through my entire 20s, I was as healthy as I could possibly be. I got into fitness. We got into eating well. And it just didn't matter. We couldn't keep my blood pressure stable. And so I started doing a little bit of research. My friend Brittany had been sharing about Plexus on Facebook, and she's one of those moms that is extra granola. Like, they have all their own chickens that they chase around the yard, and they mill up their own wheat. Like, they do all those things. So I knew that if she were sharing about it, it may or may not be effective, but I knew it would be safe. And at that point, I knew that safe was better than me being on all those medications. So I decided to give Plexus a try. My doctor agreed, and together we worked with getting me regulated by addressing gut health and blood sugar balance. And within the first 9 months, I was off of every single blood pressure medication. Since then, I've also come off of my anxiety medication. You guys, I don't know if you know many teachers, but I just finished my 7th year in the classroom, and teachers typically are medicated. And so I was very glad to kick that medication, because y'all, even that is rooted in gut health. So there's a lot more that I want to tell you, but that is why I got turned on to these products. I started doing a ton of research and learned that just about everything we struggle with can be traced back to the root issues of blood sugar balance, gut health, and inflammation. And I found something that can help with all of it. So super excited. I would love for my friend Michelle to share with you her story, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty gritty.
Yes, thank you so much, Christina. And I am Michelle Stuchel, and I'm a Ruby ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. And I will give you a very brief version of my very long story. Almost 10 years ago, when we moved to Savannah, at that point we had 2 kids in diapers. I had a PCOS diagnosis. I had allergies my whole life. I grew up on allergy shots. And then when over-the-counter allergy medicine was popular, I lived on that. So every now and then I would have a sinus infection. But you know, I was fairly healthy. Moved to Savannah, which is low country, which is a glorified way of saying swampland. Mold always in the air. And I proceeded to spend the next 2 years in the doctor's office. I would have 6 to 8 sinus infections a year. And never did they say, why do you keep getting sick? But they just kept giving me medicine. And because they were the experts, I listened and took them. Double rounds of antibiotics, steroids, breathing treatments, prednisone. I mean, you name it, I was on it. Well, fast forward a couple more years and I get a sleep apnea diagnosis, okay? Fast forward a couple more years and I have these immune issues which really affected my female issues, which was a whole lot of fun, let me tell you, and I would get infections all the time. So then at 42 years old, I find out, surprise, I'm pregnant. And I have a baby at 43 years old and my health tanks again. And I just get sick constantly. It's like anytime a germ came in, I got sick. Can y'all hear me? Christina looks frozen to me, but I'm just going to keep going.
I can hear you, Michelle, but you're frozen.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to keep talking. So my basically tanked, and my friend, a woman had tried for a while to get me to look at Plexus, and I just, no. I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know about gut health. I don't know what you're talking about, but that's not for me. But then Brittany, same Brittany, who I knew from my homeschool community, took the time to educate me about how all my seemingly disparate issues, my allergies, sinuses, digestive issues, oh yeah, I was a once a weeker in the bathroom, if you know what I mean, like my whole life. And maybe twice. That was a good week. That all these issues, including my sleep issues, were related to the same 3 root issues: poor gut health, blood sugar imbalance, and inflammation. And she sent me articles. And to be quite honest, I just got to the end of myself. And I thought, here I am, a homeschooling mom. I've got 3 kids. I don't even want to be with my kids. Talk about teachers being on anxiety medicine. What about homeschool moms that don't even want to be with their kids because they feel so crappy? That was me. I wanted to get in bed, pull the covers over my head because I was tired, sick, and overwhelmed. And here I am supposed to be loving this life. And I knew that this was not the life that God had for me. Like, I knew that, but I couldn't get out. So I told my husband, can I please try this? You know, there's a 60-day money back guarantee. And the truth is I tried everything else except for acupuncture because I hate needles. I had tried oils, I had tried cleanses, I had tried gluten-free, I had tried bentonite clay, drinking clay to try to get the toxins out of my body. I had done it all and nothing had worked. In fact, my allergist had said, if your husband can get a job outside of Savannah, you need to take it because you will never feel good here. That's the hope I had, okay? So my products came, and about a month into it, I looked at my husband on a Saturday afternoon, and I'd always sucked down coffee and tea because I was so exhausted because of the sleep apnea. I tossed and turned all night long, and I looked at him and I said, is this how normal people feel? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I feel good, and I'm happy. Is this how like the rest of the world feels? Because so that was my story. And about 6, and I thought it would take, and I started to do a lot of research. And so I thought it would take me a year to come off medicines, but 6 months in, I came off my medicines, and I used to live on allergy shots, Claritin, Flonase, you know, you name it, I was on it. Supplements, expensive probiotics. I came off of everything except for Plexus. I have not had one sinus infection, not symptomatic with allergies. A couple times my body has fought off a cold by itself My daughter even had the flu this year. I didn't get it. I'm 46 years old. I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. And I've never felt better. And that's my story. And so Christina's going to tell you a little bit about these products that really are life-changing. And she'll start, we're going to talk about Triplex. This is like our best-selling combo. It's 3 products that work synergistically to deal with these 3 issues that really are the root of most of our health issues in this country.
I love your story, Michelle. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yes, I'm going to start with the Slim. Okay, it's the pink drink. It's our cornerstone product. It's been around for quite a while now. And you've probably heard of it or seen it being shaken up around town. And it's because Plexus Slim gets to the issue of balanced blood sugar. Now, y'all, I'm going to be real honest with you. When Brittany was first starting to share with me and educate me, I literally thought to myself, I ain't a diabetic. I don't need to worry about blood sugar. I had no idea. I had no idea that insulin is the master hormone in your body. And if you don't have balanced blood sugar, nothing in your body can function as optimally as it is supposed to. So it's like this. When you eat, your blood sugar goes up. And when you miss a meal, your blood sugar goes down. So all day long, your body is going through highs and lows and highs and lows. And y'all, it was not created to be that way. It was not created to function that way. We were born to need only a little bit of insulin in our body, just a little bit. But because of our diet and what we eat and just how we live, we have flooded our system. And so much like anything else, when you're on overload, you tend to block it out. Think about if you're in church and the music is playing and it's nice and peaceful and everybody is just feeling wonderful. Well, then somebody's toddler crawls up to the stage and cranks the volume as loud as it will go. Y'all, your very first instinct is to cover your ears. We block it out. We can't accept it. That's exactly what your cells do when there's too much insulin. It blocks it out. Well, guys, that's where excess fat storage comes from. That is where sluggishness comes from, brain fog. There's a million things that are caused or exaggerated because of improper blood sugar balance. I read a cool statistic today that said something like 28% of women between the ages of 20 and 44 are pre-diabetic. Y'all, that's more than 1 in 4 of us. Okay. Or fellas, if you're on here, I don't know the statistic, but I'm assuming it's the same. And so we have to do something about that. We have got to balance our body's blood sugar. We've got to give our body the tools that it needs so that we can increase our sensitivity to insulin so that our body produces less. Okay. So Slim, it comes in a stick pack. You just rip it off, dump it in your bottle of water and shake it up. There are 2 different kinds of Slim. We just came out with the second kind. Both of them have the balancing blood sugar effect. That is the main idea of Slim. It's going to balance your blood sugar. When your blood sugar is balanced, you're going to have better quality of sleep. That's one of the very first things people notice is, oh my gosh, I lay down and I fell asleep. Like, I had no idea that people struggle with that, but apparently that's a huge issue. People lay there and their minds go and go and go. And so they're able to fall asleep and stay asleep better quality sleep. Brain fog. I have one friend that's like, thank you so much for sharing with me about Plexus. I feel like I'm actually tuned in. Like, she felt like she was living her life on the station just past the station she was supposed to be on. So she was getting bits and pieces, but she just couldn't break through the brain fog. Okay. Balanced blood sugar. Sustained natural energy. Nothing that's going to give you jitters or get you all hyped up. There are no stimulants in Slim, y'all. Natural sustained energy so that you can avoid that 2 p.m. crash. Reduce sugar cravings, y'all. You don't have to go and pile all your kids into the car and go to the store and get chocolate. Okay, that your body is not intended to live that way. So that is Plexus Slim. 2 versions. We have the regular Plexus Slim microbiome activating. It's going to balance your blood sugar, and it also has a prebiotic blend that's going to feed the good gut bacteria that Michelle's going to tell you about. So that's one version of Slim that you can choose from. We also have a hunger control Slim, and it is going to still balance your blood sugar, but it has double polydextrose, which is a water-soluble fiber. So it's going to keep you fuller longer, help you with appetite control and portion control. So you get your choice between the two slims. Whoever invited you can help you make a decision. You can do both. It's totally up to you. But that is Plexus Slim in a nutshell. Y'all, I'll never, ever go without it. So, right. Michelle, tell them the rest about Triplex.
Absolutely. And I'm the same way. I will not miss Pink Drink at all. Not one day. Okay, so the other two products in Triplex, the next product is our ProBio 5, and these really target gut health. And most people realize, and they've heard, gut health is coming to front and center, and even in mainstream media. I mean, the Today Show had something on gut health. Gut health was on the cover of Cooking Light 2 months ago. I mean, even though Hippocrates said that all disease starts in the gut, we're finally realizing that that is true, because the way that God designed our bodies is that our immune system resides in our gut. Here's an interesting fact for you. We have more bacteria in our bodies than we do human cells, by about 10 to 1. A friend of mine said, I feel less human knowing that statistic, but it's true. And we're supposed to have 80% good bacteria, 20% bad bacteria. But because of our culture, these great things called refrigerators, we're not eating fermented foods. Our diet in Western culture is primarily processed foods with sugar and carbs. And we have these amazing things called antibiotics, birth control pills, artificial sweeteners, Tylenol that I can pop whenever I don't feel good. All of those things which have their place, and I've used them all. It allows the bad bacteria to thrive and really disrupts the balance. So most of us have 20% good bacteria, 80% bad bacteria. So what is this bad bacteria? It's yeast. Okay, now everybody is born with a little bit of yeast in their guts. And researchers have determined the only reason why we have this yeast is because it decomposes your body when you die. So when antibiotics and steroids and birth control pills and artificial sweeteners and the Diet Cokes and all of that kills everything, it allows the bad bacteria, the yeast, to proliferate, okay? So when you have yeast overgrowth, candida, in your gut, what happens? It acts as yeast does. Identity always dictates behavior. It decomposes your body while you're still alive. The yeast will start poking holes through the intestinal lining of your gut, so all those digestive juices and food particles that are supposed to stay sealed tightly within that digestive tract seeps into the bloodstream, and this is what is called leaky gut. And it wreaks havoc on the body, everything from autoimmune issues, allergies, anxiety, restless leg. Did you know that even stuttering is connected to gut health? I challenge you and encourage you to take whatever ailment you or a loved one is dealing with and Google it, like say it's stuttering or allergies or whatever it is, migraines. Take migraines and gut health. You will get scores of published articles and studies making the connections between gut health and that ailment. There was even a groundbreaking study in November about the efficacy of cancer treatments directly related to gut health. Parkinson's and gut health. Okay, do that on your own time. We don't have time to do it now. The point being, to get to real health, you've got to kill off the yeast and restore that balance of 80% good bacteria, 20% bad. And that's exactly what ProBio 5 does. ProBio 5 is unlike other probiotics on the market for two primary reasons. The first is that it's freeze-dried. Most probiotics, even the expensive ones that you have to put in the refrigerator, why do you have to put them in the refrigerator? Because they're heat activated, which means as soon as you put them in your mouth, the bacteria begins to die. The bacteria is not going to do anything if it dies in your mouth. It has to get to the colon. That's where it belongs. Ours is freeze-dried, so the bacteria makes it to the colon. That's the first reason it's different. And then the second reason is that it has these digestive enzymes that literally break down the outer shell of yeast overgrowth to kill and destroy it. That has got to happen. Whether your goal is weight loss or getting rid of the migraines, you've got to kill the yeast, okay? Now, when yeast dies, it releases over 80 different toxins into the body. This is where the third product in Triplex comes in. It's called BioCleanse. BioCleanse basically helps rid the body of toxic waste. It's a gentle magnesium supplement with other enzymes and vitamins. 9 out of 10 Americans are actually magnesium deficient, and magnesium is necessary for over 300 cellular functions. So we're not talking have to stay home for the weekend for the cleanse. We're talking about a cleanse at a cellular level. But now let's talk about that cleanse. Most people have between 9 and 14 pounds of toxic waste buildup in their intestines. Gross! You do not want to have toxic waste in your body. We want to get rid of that. And so the BioCleanse works with the ProBio 5 and the Slim. These 3 products work synergistically together to balance your blood sugar, improve your gut health, and reduce inflammation. And when I say that they are life-changing, even though that sounds cliche, they really are. We choose prevention over costly bills and prescription any day of the week. So I started doing research. My health started to change. I was in a real health crisis. So, most people we tell, you gotta commit, because this is a long-term investment in health, commit to 3 months. I started noticing changes fairly quickly. And so I started to get excited. And so I started to do a lot of research, and I realized, oh my goodness, what do we have on our hands here? Why hasn't anybody told me that I could deal with the root of these issues to regain my health and to regain my life, really? Just a couple weeks ago, I asked my daughter, do you remember how sick I used to be? And she goes, no. I was shocked. And then she said, I just remember how cranky you were all the time. Life-changing, right? So Brittany had started telling me where we were in the life cycle of our company, and that less than 2% of our population had heard of Plexus. And so that started, she started planting seeds with me. Michelle, people need what you have. But I didn't want to be that crazy Plexus person. I didn't want to be associated with the network marketing company. And I certainly had enough on my plate to do whatever you're doing. Thank you, but no thank you. But I knew that people needed this, and that most people don't feel their best, and that I had something that was powerful in my hands. And what she said kept ringing in my ears. We've got 3 girls. That means 3 colleges and 3 weddings. So I was walking into my bedroom one day, and I felt like the Lord said to me, Michelle, do you care more about what people think of you or more about helping people? And when I felt like God said that to me, I thought, well, yes, sir. I'm not going to care more about myself or my reputation than I do about sharing what I have here. Because if you can change my life this way, and I know that you've changed others, I've got to be a part of this. And that's when I decided to jump in. Now, let me tell you about this opportunity. We have 325.7 million people in this country. Less than 2% has even heard of the word Plexus. How many people do you know in your life that actually feel their best? Not many, I venture to say. Most people are silently suffering and have issues that they want, even if it's just fatigue, because they're sucking down coffee and tea every day. Now, we are poised, we are approaching rapidly the $1 billion company mark. And if you think of a company like Mary Kay, everybody knows a rep or is one. It's very, very, very hard to get to the top of this company because it's saturated, and they've self-selected 50% of the population. Well, most men don't wear makeup, but that's a conversation for another day. Everybody needs these products. Men, women, I even have my kids on them, okay? Everybody has a gut. Everybody needs gut health and blood sugar balance. And because of where we are in the marketplace, we just opened our Canadian headquarters. We're scheduled to open Australia next year. We just brought on another president of international directors to go global. Where we are as a corporation is so exciting because of the opportunity. And this is the time to really affect change, not only in your own life, but in your family for generations to come. And with that, Christina's going to tell you a little bit about her story with the opportunity.
Yeah, so absolutely I will. Okay, so you guys, Donald Trump was on a talk show with David Letterman several years ago before he was into politics and the president and all that. And like him, hate him, totally irrelevant. You cannot argue with the fact that he is a very successful businessman, one of the richest men on the planet. So David Letterman asked him in this interview, he said, hey, Donald, if you lost all of your fortunes, now every dollar that you had today, what would you do tomorrow to start rebuilding it? And without missing a beat, Donald Trump said, network marketing. And the audience laughed and giggled, and you could hear him kind of being like, whatever. And he said very calmly, that is why you're sitting out there and I'm sitting up here. Because he can recognize an opportunity. Y'all, this opportunity has changed my life. So I have 4 children. I told you earlier that I just finished my 7th year in the classroom. I went to school and thought that I was going to teach for 30 years. Found out very early on in my teaching career that it does not matter how hard I teach or how early I show up or late I stay or how cute my lessons are. I can never make more than the state of Georgia says I can make. And y'all, I have 2 graduate degrees. So I was getting paid almost as much as I could without my doctorate. So it wasn't like I could have, I had the degrees. I had all of them. And there still usually was more week than paycheck or month than paycheck because we only got paid once a month. And y'all, I have a lot of kids. And so money doesn't buy happiness, but I knew that all the experiences I wanted to have with my children did require money. And so I began to think about this as an opportunity. And unlike Michelle, the helping people wasn't what drove me in to begin with. I saw an opportunity and I knew that I could bless my family financially. Helping 1,000 people along the way has just been icing on the cake for me. But I really wanted to bless my family. Y'all, within 9 months, I had matched my teaching income and surpassed. And as of a couple of weeks ago, I actually resigned from teaching. I'm now home full-time with my children. I can be available to my middle school kids, and I'm home with the 6-month-old and 3-year-old. So I'm just loving life, y'all. I didn't think I could do this, you guys. I wasn't a salesperson. I talk to little humans every single day. Like, they're not even 11. So that was what I spent my life doing. I didn't think I could sell things. And I love when Brittany said, thank God you're not a salesperson. Like, I don't want a team of salespeople. I want a team of share people who can go and share with other people what we have and how we can help them. And so I encourage you to think about this opportunity, you guys. You're not going to find a better one. I love that Plexus costs $35 for the business, not $3,500, not $5,000. There's no minimum quota, y'all. You don't have to sell a certain amount. You're totally in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself, because if you join this team, you're joining one of the fastest growing teams in the entire company. We love what we do. We love each other, and we would love to have you on board. So I hope you'll consider it. Get back with the person that invited you, and we cannot wait to watch your Plexus journey. Good night, y'all.
Good night.